What's up, everybody? Justin with the Way in the Wilderness, the frigid cold wilderness. I'm out here today back on the trail. I'm intending on camping out tonight. Not sure exactly how far I'm gonna go. Not sure, to be completely honest with you, if I'm even gonna stay out tonight. This is no doubt gonna be one of the coldest days of the year in my area. And I hope you can hear me with this balaclava on, but I'll go ahead and take it off right now. It is supposed to get down to about -6 degrees Fahrenheit tonight. It is frigid cold out. And right off the bat, I just want to say that I commend everybody online who I watch that comes out and films videos like this. I can't tell you how much more difficult it is today to come out here and do this. Even when I was getting out of the car, getting all my gear on, you know, y'all obviously have gloves on. I have some glove liners on, and everything is just so much more difficult. Trying to film, just even getting this set up just now. But sorry, I'm trying to watch what I'm doing. The trail is pretty icy. As you can see, there's tons of snow out on the ground still. The majority of this snow was from, maybe about a week ago or so. And it's still on the ground. It's been cold in my area for quite a while. I say quite a while, just recently, but today, no doubt about it, is going to be one of the coldest days of the year. And to be perfectly honest with you and transparent, I'm not even used to getting out in this type of cold. I definitely layered up, and I think I have a pretty good system on. There's some canine scat there. But I'm layered up pretty good. I don't anticipate having any problems of getting too cold, but I definitely, as I'm hiking through here, I do not want to start sweating a lot and potentially get even colder. Man, there's a lot of stuff out on the trail. But anyways, guys, just wanted to touch base with you guys right off the bat here as I get my hike started, and I'll see you guys here in a few minutes. Pretty cool. I can't tell if you guys can hear that or not, but the lake is completely frozen, as you can see, and it lets off these cool noises underneath the water. But yeah, I'm about a little over a half mile out onto the trail, and it's pretty icy. The trail is pretty icy, so it's pretty rough going. I'm having to kind of brace myself a lot with this leg, so I'm feeling some not really pain, but I'm using parts of my leg that I normally don't use. And so this is definitely a time of year, with the amount of ice that's on the trail, that I could use some crampons, or I'm not sure exactly what you call the smaller ones, but something to get some better grip into the ice. So I'm having to really take my time and be very careful, because as you can imagine, there's absolutely no one out here today. I'm completely alone out here, and so I definitely want to take my time. I don't want to be speeding, hiking too fast. So anyway, this is a pretty cool area. I'm right here down by the water. I could easily set up over here. I'm not sure that I really want to do that though, because all the cold air is going to kind of settle down in here. I'm pretty low right now, so I want to get up a little bit higher if I'm going to set up. And maybe get into some coverage too in case the wind at some point kicks up a little bit during the night. I have a shelter that I'm going to be trying out today, so I want to make sure that I'm set up in a good location. So maybe not the best day to be testing out new gear, but I don't know, I'm pretty confident. And I have backups also, so if something were to happen, I have some tried and true gear that will at least get me out of the elements. But cold out here. Alright guys, so I found a little bit of a better spot. I'm a little bit higher elevation, not too high to where I'm gonna be having too much of the wind, which is coming from this direction. And I'm a little bit, you know, kind of in between the low point and the high point. Somewhere in the middle is kind of where I want to be today. And I'm just sitting here kind of leveling out this little area here to put my shelter up, which isn't very big. It's just a small bivy tent, and very similar to one that I've shown before on the channel, but I'll talk about it a little bit more here in a little while. So my plan is to just level this out, set up my shelter right here, and probably have some kind of a fire out here. I don't think I'm going to need one all night long. I have a hammock gear down quilt, which is rated at 0 degrees, dressed properly, so that's going to help. I have some heavier weight thermals to change into, and I actually recently picked up some down booties, and I'll show you guys those here in a little while to help keep my feet warm. And I have an insulated X-Bed sleeping mat, and then I also have a Gossamer Gear kind of a foam what do you call it, ground mat to lay my X-Bed on top of, so I'll be pretty insulated from the ground. I have a down quilt that theoretically is going to be warm enough and dressed properly and all of that, so I think I should get a decent night's sleep tonight, even though it's supposed to get down to about -6. So anyway guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get the shelter set up and touch base with you guys after that. Alright guys, so this is the shelter I'm going to be using out here today, and this is a Bivy Tent by One Wind, and I have actually used a Bivy Tent from One Wind that is very similar to this. In fact, I think that there's one difference on this one, or one component that they've added in this new Bivy Tent, and they sent this over to the channel, so I want to give a shout out to One Wind. Everything that I've used from One Wind has been just really good quality, and just, I don't know, it just seems like really good, some really good gear at a really great price. So yeah, I want to thank One Wind for sending this over to the channel, and it has a feature on it that the last one did not, and I'll talk about it once I get it set up. But the only thing that I've done here is I have thrown in this little ground mat here, because it does not come with one. Although the bottom of these are pretty durable, I believe a ripstop nylon, and I'll put all of the specs and all of that on the screen, and so you can kind of get a look at all of the features and the materials. I went over a lot of those on the last one, and I'm pretty sure this is the same materials that it's made up of. But I've added this. I bought this a couple years ago. Can't remember exactly what. Looks like a gear top, just a small little ground mat, and I use this when I'm backpacking, because generally I'm using a sill nylon tarp. But I decided that I want to do a lot more camping in some lightweight tents so I can have full enclosure. My wife and I are going to be doing a trip here before too long, and I think we'll both be using these one wind. She's not getting out here in this kind of cold though, so it's gonna have to warm up a little bit before we do that. But these things have been really great, and I'm excited to test this one out, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it set up. All right, guys, so camp's all set up. A lot of work. I had to, it may not look like it, but I'm having to, I didn't bring a shovel or anything like that because I wanted to keep my pack light. In fact, I even forgot a sit pad. I threw a rock over here to kind of just keep me off of the snow, but my butt will be a little bit chilly, but it'll be okay. So I had to just use my boots to, at the, you know, right before I set up, I cleared out an area to set up my tent. And then I cleared out this front area and left kind of a little walkway here with a little berm all the way around everything. So just a lot of work doing all of that, setting this up for the first time, you know, figuring out this new little addition over here. And if you can see over here on this side, on this one wind ultralight Bivy tent, I believe they're calling this their 3-season. And one of the things that they've added is, well, really it's the only major thing that they've added is this wall over here on this side, which is the head. And the head end is a lot taller than this bottom end down here where your feet would be. And again, I did a video on the previous Bivy tent, so I'll leave a link in the description box to that. It kind of goes over a lot more of the materials and things like that. But I really like that because it just gives you an extra wall of protection from any inclement weather, any wind. If the wind were to change direction on this side, it gives you a little bit more, which I think having that here, and the wind is actually coming from behind me mainly right now, which is going to be really beneficial when I go to start cooking here in a little while. And one of the other things that I really appreciated that they did on this Bivy tent is they actually left the guy lines on either side already attached, so you didn't have to take the time to unravel those, get them set up on that whenever you're going to tie this out. I've used my trekking poles on either side, and then I just ran these to a couple trees, the awning here. But that addition I really like, and that new the new way of keeping the guy lines already attached to these corners is really nice. And actually on the back, down on the bottom down there on the back side, they also left them attached on the little flap that allows for ventilation. And as you saw back there, one of the things that I did is I laid a log a little bit of ways from that, so that any wind tonight, like I said, it's coming from that direction, any of that wind isn't going to get up underneath there and keep me chilly tonight. So any way that I can stop some wind from getting into my shelter is going to be very beneficial tonight. And I've really been taking my time as I'm maneuvering around over here not to kick a bunch of snow into my sleeping area, because excuse me, the last thing that I want to do tonight is have any kind of moisture build up in there. In a single wall tent like this, condensation can already be an issue. And excuse me, but having the ventilation back there, and I may or may not keep one of these sides open. Boy, I got to get some water. It is really dry out here. And I've been moving a lot. I'm trying to obviously stay hydrated, and sorry guys. I'm actually really surprised that my Nalgene hasn't frozen up yet. Obviously, I have plenty of snow out here. That's what I'll be doing as far as water goes. But what I did today is I brought some of this, some fuel for my my little, what is it called? My Trangia stove. I didn't want to bring any isobutane or anything like that. It really struggle trying to get it going in this kind of weather. But yeah, I just picked up this bottle, this Trangia multi-fuel bottle, which is really cool. Way better to store it in your pack with this than I used to just carry it in just a Nalgene bottle. But this is really nice. I like this. It, you know, kind of comes out nice and smooth, and it's really secure. It's not going to tip over in your pack or anything. So I just have what is it that I use in there? The big yellow bottle of heat. That's what I use in mine. But I'm going to whip out the Trangia here shortly. Get some dinner going. It's about 3 o'clock, 3:15 or so. So it'll be dark in a couple hours. And that's perfect, because I wanted to make sure that I had everything set up, ready to go. In fact, I have my my Outdoor Vitals booties that I just picked up, my down booties that are really going to help keep my feet warm tonight. I have those in there, and I'll let you guys know how those work out for me tonight. I have my heavier thermals in there, some extra wool socks, which I may or may not use. I'm not sure if you really want to use those with those booties or not. So this can be my first time using any down, you know, booties over my feet. I gotta quit saying booties. But yeah, I wanted to make sure everything was good to go, and I'm not gonna run into any issues. I'm about maybe a little less than a mile from my car, so if worse came to worse, I don't feel like I would have an issue getting back to my car. But I think I should stay fairly warm tonight, so at least that's the plan. So trying to think, guys, this One Wind Bivy tent, I'll leave a link in the description box below if you want to go check this out. I'll leave a link to these Outdoor Vitals booties if you wanted to go pick some of those up. I'll leave a affiliate link on there for that, affiliate link on there for this. Yeah, guys, really nice. I got my stuff all situated right here, and this is just the rain cover for my pack that I'm using kind of just to keep all of my stuff off of the snow here. So I think what I'm going to do is get some dinner going, or lunch, or whatever you want to call it. I may end up getting a fire going here before too long as well. So anyway, I'm going to get to it, guys. All right, guys, I got some snow. Got some snow on here melting right now in my bush pot. Yeah, I'm gonna get I think I have some Trailtopia. I can't think right now. What is it that I have? Let me go get it real quick. I decided to not even bother with the stove right now. Got a fire going. I figure I might as well boil my water on there. I don't see a point in getting my stove going if I don't have to. I'm gonna get a piece of this right now because I am absolutely starving. I haven't eaten anything since I've been out here today. This is actually some SOS food rations that were going bad this year that I had stored at home, so I'm gonna go ahead and start eating those up. It's actually pretty good. Pretty sweet. My wife didn't like them though. I told her that's all we're eating for a while because we gotta get rid of them. I'm kidding. All right. What is it that I had? Trailtopia chili mac with beef. That's what I'm gonna go for. And these, let's see, open bag, remove and discard and close oxygen absorber before preparation. Expand bottom of bag. Add 1 cup of boiling water. Pretty easy. 1 cup boiling water, stir thoroughly, seal, and let sit for 15 minutes. Let's see what we got here. Man. Go ahead and get this opened up. Been trying out this little neck knife by Odenwolf. It's got a Scandi grind. I'm gonna be testing this out for a little while. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check this out. But I'm gonna do a review on it here before too long. But just trying to put it through its paces. Take it out with me. I haven't used the neck knives a whole lot, but this one seems to be pretty nice and it's affordable. Got this cool little lanyard on it with the small ferro rod and a striker. So Scandi grind, I like that. All right, so let me see. Gonna move, get the oxygen absorber out of there. Spread out the bottom of this bag. And I feel like I could definitely eat 2 of those, and I actually have 2 of them. So all right. Man, I gotta eat some more of these rations. So easy to lose track of time out here. It's already like 4:30.
All right, food going. Just kind of my hiking setup. I carry this Cedar Summit little fold-out cup. It's awesome because it keeps you from having to put your food, or if you're cooking your food in your bush pot, you can use this for your drinks and that. It's really convenient, lightweight, foldable, so it's super easy to store inside my food bag. All right, that's what I was looking for. My spoon. I'm gonna go ahead and get some hot tea going here in a minute. Better save that one. That's the breakfast blend. How about Cozy Chamomile Bigelow tea? All right, my bush pot's about boiling. Didn't take long at all. Got it sitting right here on this piece of wood, and I'm hoping that piece of wood doesn't give way. I have seen 2 people out here on the trail today, which I was really surprised. I didn't think I was gonna see anyone out here today. They just strolled by. No idea what that was all about, but well, sometimes when you're out here, you just do stupid stuff. I didn't think that that was going to be hot, so I just, well, the bale, so I just grabbed it with my gloves. My gloves have just been taking a beating today. These are some, I really enjoy these gloves too. It's amazing when you're out here and you're doing this stuff quite a bit. You realize just how much stupid stuff you do without really thinking about it. And it could be detrimental if you do something too wrong, but yeah, sometimes looking back on it, like earlier today before I even came out here, I stopped at the store and I had to get gas, and my glove liners, I grabbed my glove liners to get my wallet out because I couldn't grab them with my gloves on. And no sooner than I pull that glove off, it rips, my glove liner. So I actually went back home, had my wife sew it up for me before I came out here. And now she's gonna watch this later, like, you knucklehead, you grabbed the bale with your gloves. That's me. All right, here we go. We're just gonna estimate a cup. I think that should be about right. Go ahead and stir this up. All right. Let me close this up. Let that sit for 15 minutes. I might set it right there to keep it a little warm. And I think I'm gonna get some more water on the boil over here so I can drink some tea. Check out my gloves. What a bonehead. Well, my water's just starting to freeze up on there a little bit. I don't know how well you can see that, but starting to freeze up. Man, this fire feels really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and boil this whole thing right now. Later on, my plan is to, as soon as I'm done eating, I think what I'm gonna do is, let me quit running my mouth real fast and get this on there. What I'm gonna do is gather a little bit more firewood so that I can warm up before I go lay down for the night. So I'm gonna do that. Let's see. And I'm gonna obviously, boil some more water later on, and that way I have enough water to last me, get me through the night. Warm up and get dressed and make sure I'm nice and warm. I have on my warmer thermals, and yeah, make sure everything's all situated. Probably throw some hot water in here to keep kind of tucked up next to me, and make sure, it'll keep me warm throughout the night, but make sure I have some water that's not frozen when I get up tomorrow morning. Hopefully. Now, if that freezes throughout the night, then we're going to have a huge problem. This titanium's really nice. It boils that water really fast. Get out of there. I'm not gonna make the same mistake this time. But overall, I've stayed warm. Obviously, I've been working and doing a bunch of stuff, so you tend to stay warm that way. I managed to not sweat. I have really been ventilating and zipping, unzipping, taking off my hat, and it's really important in this cold weather to ventilate. Not let yourself get too warm to where you start sweating, especially as the sun's going down. But getting a hot drink in me help warm my core up even more. Sit by this fire right before I go to bed, warm my feet up, everything up, and then just hop straight into bed. Should be all good. Should be all good. Ooh, this thing is putting off some heat. A lot of this was driftwood that I found down there by the lake. That stuff burns really hot. Wow, I just absolutely destroyed that Trailtopia chili mac. That one's really good. I think I've actually had that one before. I was just sitting here while I was eating. I was thinking about a few things, and I've been really thinking a lot the past couple days. But with regard to this outdoor bushcraft, camping, hiking, just outdoor stuff, one thing I've realized is when you have a YouTube channel, it tends to bring a lot of, I don't want to say hate, but a lot of kind of just know-it-alls. And I've been trying to figure these people out, but I just can't figure them out. You know, you come on here and you know, in full transparency, you know, I've never tried to hide this. I've never claimed to be some kind of an expert. I think I have learned a thing or two over the last handful of years, but I am just now, you know, late 2024, started actually getting formal training in the outdoors. You know, I grew up in the city my whole life. You know, I didn't grow up going bushcrafting. Nobody, you know, in my family, my dad actually wasn't even in my life. But, you know, a handful of years ago, I got, you know, into hiking really with my pastor, a good friend of mine. And you don't have to have all the training in the world. You don't have to be an expert. You know, gain a little knowledge and get out. If you want to go out and who cares? You want to start a YouTube channel? Who cares what the haters are going to say? Who cares what the know-it-alls are going to say? Just go out and do what it is that you want to do and have a good time doing it. I don't know exactly where I was going with that, but this is what I'm working with as far as firewood tonight. My thought was, you know, obviously I'm going to be in my tent and I'm going to be underneath my overquilt and all of that, and I'm anticipating to stay pretty warm tonight, but in this kind of weather I want to make sure that I have a little bit of firewood left. So I want this to burn for quite a long time. That way, if in the middle of the night for any reason I had to get a fire going to get warm, I already have some more firewood right here. It's not going to take me very long to get a fire going. So that's kind of my thoughts right now. But as for right now, man, I'm just going to sit here and warm up by the fire and kind of just get ready for the night. I'm going to throw on my headlamp here in just a second and just kind of really get ready for the night. So that's where I'm at right now. Gotta love when you do that, guys. I just sat here and did this whole scene and wasn't even on record, but I got my phone going. I have a new headlamp going that I'm testing out that was sent to me from Nightcore. It is the NU27. Looks like a really awesome headlamp, so I'm kind of putting it through its paces as well out here. I'm hoping that this shot is coming in a lot better than just the camera on my phone. But I got everything situated. I got some wood to last me, you know, a little bit in reserve for the night in case of an emergency. I got my water bottle, my Nalgene, filled up with hot water from my bush pot. I have another bush pot on the boil right now, and I'm probably going to sit down, have some hot tea, warm up next to the fire. I got some things airing out, my gloves, my balaclava, and I have my my bandana over here airing out as well. So I'm going to get this off of here. I'm going to get everything situated. I'm not going to film much more tonight. I'm going to just get everything aired out, get my feet warmed up, change, and get laid down and underneath that quilt because it's going to be really cold tonight. So anyway, guys, I will catch you guys in the morning. I'll let you know how everything goes. So appreciate you guys watching, and I hope to see you guys in the morning.
All right, everybody, so as you can see, I am no longer at camp, and I wanted to go over really quickly, as you probably can see in the title, things did not really go according to plan. I'm going to say last night, but this is honestly about a week later. That camping trip that I was on was actually, to the day actually, was a week ago. And the last scene that I shot was basically saying that I was going to go to, you know, get things situated before I went to lay down. So I kind of want to go over really quickly what exactly happened and why I think I had these issues in the night. So at about midnight is when I ended up packing everything up, and I ended up hiking out, which was just under a mile. I had to hike out. And there was snow. It was dark. Obviously, it was extremely cold. The low for the area that I was in was -10, and I think that was going to be closer to about 3 or 4 in the morning. But it was definitely in the negatives. But -10 degrees Fahrenheit was the low for that day, according to the weather app that I typically use, which, you know how that goes. A lot of times it's not very accurate, but anyhow, it was the coldest that I have ever been out camping for sure. There's no doubt about that. So what happened was, like I kind of explained in one of the previous clips, I had enough firewood that I was going to have some left over just in case in the middle of the night for any reason I had to get up and burn the remainder of that wood to kind of warm up or whatever the case. The tent performed well. Everything stood up, you know, there was really no issues. The only issue that I did have, and it wasn't necessarily the fault of the tent, it was really just the situation. There was so much condensation that built up on the inside, which part of that also was a fault of my own. There is a vent up in the top corner which I failed to open. That was just an oversight on my part. But there was just so much steam coming out of my mouth while I was laying down that it just instantly crystallized on the inside of the tent, and there was so much condensation buildup. But I think one of the major issues that I had was I have an Exped down mat, 7 I believe is what it's called. The R value, I believe, is a 7. It is a very warm sleeping pad. But I have never slept in temperatures that cold before. And it should have done fine. There should have been no issues. So when I got home, I actually asked some folks in a Facebook group if they have ever had any issues with this. So it just so happened that when I got home, as I was putting my gear away, I happened to be folding that Exped up, and through the window, actually this window right here to my right, I could see all of the down insulation in the baffles. And so I started to look at it. I aired it back up, and I I looked at it, and it was very hard for me to get the feathers, the down feathers, distributed evenly throughout those baffles. And so I got to thinking, well, man, I should probably look this up. So when I got everything put away, I actually decided to go ahead and look up on the XBED website, and they have a video on there that I came across that showed kind of the proper way to do that. And in looking back on it, I realized it was another just oversight on my part. What I was supposed to do is inflate it a little bit and then distribute those with my hand all throughout the baffle, so they're kind of evenly distributed, which is going to add the insulation all throughout. So anyway, what I believe happened was I had some huge air pockets where there was no down insulation, and it was right around from my waist to my knees. So it was my thighs and my butt stayed really cold. And it wasn't cold enough that I couldn't have suffered through it, but it just made it so much more uncomfortable, and I wouldn't have got very much sleep. So I decided to call it, and I did sleep with my down jacket on, and I also had the down booties from Outdoor Vitals, which shout out to Outdoor Vitals. They gave me a really great deal on those, and yeah, Narissa was the lady that I spoke to over at Outdoor Vitals, so I really want to give a shout out to them. They gave me a really good discount on them, and they performed awesome. My feet were warmer than they've ever been on any cold weather camping trip, and this was, like I said, the coldest that I've ever been out camping. But so I ended up just calling it. All throughout the day, I stayed perfectly warm, but I also think that I could have had another layer of insulation in that weather on my legs, because all I had was my heavyweight thermals by Terramar. They're kind of the military style fleece lined thermals, if you've ever used those. They're extremely warm, but I think in retrospect I could have had another layer of insulation on my legs when it came time to sleep, because like I said, that was really the only thing on me that stayed cold. And so all in all, my plan worked out. About midnight, like I said, maybe a little bit before, I decided to just call it. I was going to hike out and just hop in my car and head home, and that's what I did. I got up, I burned the remainder of that firewood, and so, I mean, it was so cold, while I was tearing everything down and getting everything put back together, because obviously, you know, I'm using materials that you don't want really close to the flames of a fire, so it was a little ways away. So as I was tearing down the tent, as I was putting away my quilt and things like that, I would have to, you know, do one task and then go and warm myself up by the fire, do another task and go and warm myself up by the fire. And it was kind of like that, and it took me probably the better part of an hour to get everything situated. It was very hard to get the tent tore down and put up, and a part of that was because everything was just frozen. I actually just completely snapped in half like 3 of the tent stakes that the tent came with, and it was simply because they were just frozen solid into the ground. And so I ended up getting everything packed up, and like I said, I hiked out, and to be honest, my car seemed like it barely even wanted to start, is how cold it was. Not just that, but when I began to back out after I let the car warm up for a little while, the brakes froze, so it felt like the brakes weren't even working just for a second. And it was just an extremely cold day out, and I am not used to camping in that type of cold. And I knew that I was going to be pushing the limits of my gear anyway, because my hammock gear top quilt is rated at 0 degrees, and that's a comfort rating, and that thing performs wonderfully all the time, but it was even pushing the limits of that 0 degree top quilt. And like I said, the tent itself, I knew going into it, this is a 3-season tent. It's not necessarily meant for extreme winter temperatures or anything like that, but it performed great overall. but it's just not a tent that's really meant for that time of year. But so I knew, like I said, going into it, that I was going to be testing the limits of the gear that I was going out there, and that was a part of it. And I knew going into it that there was a possibility that I might hike back out and go ahead and call it. I didn't want that to be the case, but unfortunately that's what happened. And you know, I learned some lessons, which is great. I learned how to properly distribute the down in my X-Ped sleeping pad. So overall, I think it was a success as far as learning something, and I think that's really what a lot of this is all about. You know, you go in and you do it safely, and you have some fail safes, or whatever you would call that, to, you know, combat any problems that you may have. And you know, I let my wife know where I was. I touched base with her periodically throughout the day, and the worst case scenario was that I had to hike back out, and that's what happened, and everything went smoothly. But I feel like it could have been a lot worse had I not planned for the possibility of having to call it quits. And it's okay to do that. I don't feel any shame or anything by that. I just know that next time that I go in that type of cold weather, which honestly, that's probably going to be the coldest day of the year in my area, if I had to guess. I highly doubt it'll get down to that temperature again. But if I do, I have learned some lessons, and I feel like overall that was worth it, going out and taking this trip. I had a good time all day long. I always like going out in any weather, but learning those lessons are kind of what a lot of this is all about. And so don't ever feel ashamed if you have to go out and call it quits, and just be safe. And anyway, so I wanted to get this shot to kind of go over that, and I was considering doing a YouTube live, like going live and talking about cold weather camping. So if that's something that you guys would be interested in, let me know in the comments section. Any of the gear, if you have any experience with these X-Ped or any other kind of down-filled air mat for camping, let me know kind of what your recommendations are, or anything like that, or any kind of cold weather tips or tricks. Please leave those in the comment section below. I've said this before on the channel, and I say it again, I'm not above learning, and I always take advice from the comment section, and you guys have a ton of great advice, and that's what it's really all about. I'm all about learning. I'm not an expert. I never have claimed to be, but I do enjoy getting outdoors, and I do want to do it safely. I think that's very important. And so yeah, any tips, tricks, anything like that for cold weather, if you'd like to see it live and have some kind of a discussion about it, let me know in the comment section. Do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys on the next cold trip, which should be coming up pretty soon. Probably not going to be as cold, but it'll still be a little chilly in my area in the near future. So God bless. You guys take care. Have a great day.